What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? How you doing today? Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salam Mel. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for joining on this beautiful Friday. It's a little chilly out this way. Coming in at a cold, brisk, like 49, 50 degrees right now. Goodness gracious, too cold, too cold. I'm just getting some things together real quick. We're gonna get started. The channel and my tea. Bam, that's ready. Hmm. Do I have something that I could play for this occasion? Hmm. Nah. Yeah, I had a good old. I had a. Yeah. This always good. Be right back. Get my tea. I'm stopping now. Seven's up in this Where my Moor is at? Where my Moor is at? Check it out. Moor is at? Now see, a long time ago there was one man, and he came to teach Moors who was being called Negroes and blacks. And you see, he was sort of like this guy, three wise men used to speak about, way, way, way back in the day. And he was for love instead of hate. And he stood on five principles. It was love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. In disrespect to the sixth God, but this man here, he was rolling with them sevens. You know it. I know it. Hey, he was rolling with them sevens. Yeah, he was rolling with them sevens. Now we rolling with them sevens. Yeah, we rolling with the sevens. Sevens up, sevens up. If you rolling with the sevens, yeah, okay, yeah. Hey, now, Noble Drew Ali, that was his name. To help us know ourselves, that's why he came. Yeah, I used to be so angry, spitting flame. But once I seen the light, that is when it changed. Once you know the truth, it change your eyes. You can see our people for we are, not the lies. Now I understand why they try and keep us lost. Our ancestors right, man, they really had the sauce. They gave hella knowledge, hella culture to the world. They trying to make us slaves, and try and keep it there. Without even knowing, making gold out of dirt. We always showing love, that's probably why it hurt. My people wanna chill, my people want serenity. And it seems like they want some more enemies. We all about love, we all about peace. Throw them sevens up when you see us in the streets. Don't we throw the sevens? Hit it with the loud. You know this feel like hell. Oh yeah, sevens up, baby. Sevens up, baby.
See, when you understand the spiritual nature of the seven and how it manifests all around us, it will allow us to understand our divine nature. It must be challenging for others to understand who we are. You know, they place labels on us, try to identify us in ways that remove us from our divinity, calling us everything outside of what we truly are. And what happens when we identify with the name or label that someone else has given us? We forget our divinity, who we truly are. See, the thing about language is that it has the same dual nature as everything else. It can be beautiful, but at the same time, it can be stifling to our nature. So when we identify with something that limits us to the material realm, it strips us of our divinity. We are beyond labels. We are made in Supreme's likeness. Wake up, divine man. You are creators with the same likeness. See, a divine man represents the will. And when a divine man has the will to do something, and he directs his will with the spiritual power of the divine woman, oh, the beauty in what you can create. Everything around us is because we created it. Let's get back to that. Back to conscious creativity. I will honor your highest expression, your divinity. We waiting on you, divine man.
All right, all right, all right. Now I'm feeling good. Hope you're feeling great. Um, the basics. How can I tell if someone is a Moor? Um, man, this question is an interesting one because a lot of Moors, even when I say that, a lot of brothers and sisters, a lot of people who are aware that we are Moors. Before I even get there, let's just look up the definition. Let's start with the basics. Let's just keep it simple. We'll get the big dictionary out. I could go online for you. I'm gonna just get the dictionary out. I humbly ask if you around, if you watching this, just pull out a dictionary. More. When you look in the dictionary, it says a Muslim of the mixed Berber and Arab people inhabiting Northwest Africa, a member of this group that invaded Spain in the 8th century AD and occupied it till 1492. If you read that, you'd be like, "What? I'm a black man. I'm an African American. This don't got nothing to do with me." But you got to study history. You gotta understand and decipher the codes. I ain't gonna get too deep into it, but this definition is speaking directly to us, to the so-called black man and black woman, the so-called black people, so-called African Americans. This is literally telling us about our history. It's just coded in a whole bunch of different words, so we don't see it. But I'm gonna show you a quick little whoop whoop, just so you know, so you don't have to have a whole bunch of research and doing all of that. You can still find the truth in the same dictionary. Go down to Blackamoor. Blackamoor. Black. Oh, they don't have Blackamoor in here? See, this is why you gotta have multiple dictionaries. Oh, here we go. I'm tripping, my bad. Blackamoor. Now usually offensive. Definition number 1, a black person. Definition number 2, any dark-skinned person. Unexplained variation of phrase Blackamoor. That's the only 2 definitions it has. So you heard more, it's talking about Arabs and Berbers, 7th century, 1492. That's a very key, important year, but we're not getting to that, right? If you don't study history and you don't know all the codes, you won't understand that's talking about us. But that's the little workaround, little glitch in the matrix for you. Blackamoor, look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. First definition, a black person. Ain't that you? So-called black person. Any dark-skinned person. Ain't that you? Come on now. All right, so boom. That's just to make it clear. When we saying Moors, we talking about any dark-skinned person, any black person. Us. All right, cool. Now, getting to this. How can I tell if someone is a Moor? The truth is, any dark-skinned person you see is a Moor. That's the truth of the matter. But usually when people say, is that a Moor or you a Moor, they're coming from the understanding of you have to have a certain, you know a certain amount of information, or you know certain things, and oftentimes it's about wearing this fez or a turban. And this is important. You know what I mean? Wearing the fez and the turban is important, But the issue that I see a lot of brothers and sisters who know we're Moors and who have studied this information is that we give off the impression that you have to wear these things to be a Moor. And that's not how it's supposed to be at all.
The fez is symbolic. You know, the turban is symbolic. You know, it is an outwardly expression of what you know and who you are. Um, but those are material things. That's not who. That doesn't make us a Moor. Wearing a turban doesn't make us a Moor. Um, you know, and I urge people, everyone, you know, to really change our mentality about that. You know, to start seeing everyone that we see out here as Moors, and stop trying to say, oh well, that's a black person because they don't know that we're Moors. That's not correct. Um, and more importantly, for the people, the brothers and sisters who know that we're Moors and who are out here teaching and speaking about us being Moors, it is extremely important that you show that you're more through your actions, not just your words, not just how you look. Um, you know, let me give you an example. Before I even knew about Noble Drew Ali and this whole Moorish movement in depth, this is back in like 2011, Occupy Oakland, Occupy Wall Street, around that time. Um, I had begun changing my mentality, you know, and feeling like we needed to push more love and peace out in the world, because it was a whole lot of talk about war and invading this country and bombs, and I was learning about all sorts of stuff. Um, and I'm having this conversation with this European brother, and it's European brother, and it's me, and this is another partner of mine. I believe it was Do That. Um, and we having a conversation about how can we solve what's going on in this country, in the world. You know, how do we end these wars, etc., etc. And Do That said something, and the European dude said something, and I was saying, you know, I think we need more love and more peace in the world. We need more understanding and to communicate better. Um, Now, mind you, I haven't studied Noble Drew Ali, none of this yet. This is just from, you know, some of the other. I was thinking I was studying teachings of Buddha and, you know, reading a little bit of the Quran at that time, but I didn't have any understanding of love, true peace, freedom, and justice, and love instead of hate. None of that. Uh, and the dude looked at me. He said, "Are you Muslim?" Now I ain't say nothing. I ain't say no Islam. I ain't say Assalamu alaikum, my brothers. I did nothing like that. I had no fez. I had no turban. I didn't have the name Rami of nothing. You know what I mean? Um, and I laugh about that because it was more so about, and I didn't know, you know, much about Islam or Prophet Muhammad or the Quran, nothing about Islam for him to call me, you know, or think that I was a Muslim. Um, but it was more so about my actual actions and deeds and what I was true, the principles I was really trying to live and stand on. Um, and I say that to say, when we look at ourselves as Moors, we have to be honest with ourselves, and we are not doing a good job of representing and really being the principles that show and distinguish us as Moors, whether we're wearing a fez or not. And those principles is love, true peace, freedom, and justice. The first one being love. This is a, you know, a harsh and unfortunate truth, but we have to be a better example. Um, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit, just so you know it's not coming just from my opinion. Boom. This is chapter 4 from the Holy Quran, the Moors. I'm sorry. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it was before it was known as the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali. Excuse the book, you can see kind of worn down here. But chapter 4 says, men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. The man who stands upon the corners of the paths and points the way, but there we go. My fault, y'all. My daughter was calling me. Oh, snap. I told him to call me in the morning. Sorry, Caleb, Cam, if y'all see this. My bad. Boom. Says, the man who stands upon the corners of the paths and points the way but does not go is just a pointer, and a block of wood can do the same. The teacher treads the way, and on every span of ground he leaves his footprints, his or her footprints, clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he or her, their master, went that way. And then it goes on, men comprehend the inner life by what they see and do. They come to Allah through ceremonies and forms. And then it goes on and on. This is speaking about baptism and, the symbolic meaning of it. But the point that I want to highlight there, as Moors, we can't just, say, oh, we're Moors and we need to be doing this and da-da-da-da-da-da. Nah, we got to walk the walk. We can't just talk it. And I don't just mean, taking on a name and, saying that you're part of a temple and saying you proclaimed your nationality on the social media. I get that respect. Past that. I'm talking about your day-to-day actions when you're not filming, when nobody's watching, when it's just you and the world, how you're actually acting in the world. That's what's going to show and distinguish us as being Moors from our past state when we didn't know who we were, when we didn't know ourselves. And that's really important, in these days and times, in this time specifically, that we show through our actions. That's why I didn't even wear this fez, for this one, because it's not about the symbolic stuff. You know what I mean? The real work is inside, you know what I mean? First and foremost, that's where the real work take place first. Inside, really changing your core about who you are and your principles and what you stand on, making sure you stand on the inside, internally. You keeping yourself in check, your lower self, you feel me? That's in there too. But then past that is showing it through your actions. You know what I mean? Through your daily life. Not just on social media, not just in the comment section, not just on the video. And I'm not just talking, and I'll give you an example. So it don't just sound like, oh, well, what about you, Rami? What you doing? Because I feel you, you know what I mean? We gotta lead by example. Boom. Where I work, it was this woman who was, actually, first what happened was an older brother came and told me this woman was down bad, may need the paramedics. I go check her out. She down bad, on the steps, throw up everywhere, phone there, yeah, right? I see somebody on the FaceTime on her phone. I can't really hear because it got her headphones in the phone, so it's just like you can't really hear. I'm like, hello, are you know what I mean? What's going on? I'm communicating. She say the girl on the FaceTime is on the way. The girl down bad is down bad. I'm like, all right, I'll stay with her till she gets there. Mind you, I don't have to do this. I could have just said, okay, need anything, boom, boom, call paramedics or whatever and be about my way. Plenty other people, whatever. That's not the point. What am I doing? Past my job, who am I as a person? What principles do I stand on? That's what I'm thinking. Fast forward, her friend, the sober friend, gets there. I let him know, boom, boom, it's the last train you got. It's going back this way. Long story short, they missed the last train. Now they stuck out here in Oakland. I say, man, can y'all get an Uber? Yeah. Need help? getting upstairs. We downstairs 2 stores. I gotta go up 2 flights. She's out of there. Her sober friend not even caring. So now I'm carrying this down bad drunk girl up 2 flights, dead weight, arms stinging. I mean, I don't have to do none of this. Way past what I should be doing, but principle. See somebody you're supposed to be helping them. You know what I mean? Uplifting humanity. I can't be talking about, oh, you supposed to be doing this, Rami, and then look at me. You know what I mean? We get upstairs. I get off work. Boom. I go upstairs. I still see him. I'm like, well, what's going on? No Uber's coming to pick him up because girl's down bad. Ain't nobody messing with that. I feel him. I'm like, well, anybody else y'all can call, ride, da-da-da. I don't know. I think I'm gonna just sleep out here all night and we'll figure out something in the morning. Oh, jeez. I could. Now, mind you, we in downtown Oakland. These women are young. One is finished, out cold, drunk. No way they supposed to be staying out there all night. Can't let them do it. Sober girl's mom calls. Run down the story. She's like, I'll be on the way. She coming from San Francisco, though. So that's about a 20, 25-minute drive. I'm supposed to be home. Matter of fact, I wasn't even supposed to be working that part of the shift. I stayed extra because my coworker was out sick. I'm like, all right, I'll stay. Because I can't leave him out there. It's downtown. It's late. It's like 10:45-ish. It's not a good look. I get to talking. Turns out the sober girl, not even her friend like that. They just co-workers. She barely knew the girl. Turned out the sober girl, Filipino piece, she just got to the country a month or two ago. I'm like, oh my God. If I would have left, come on, man. Come on. I stay. Mom comes. Get the drunk lady into the car. Everybody good. Peace, peace, peace. They drive off. I go home. I tell you that story. Because it wasn't like it was some people watching. It was like, yeah, good job, Rami. Way to go, Moor. You did that, Moor. It wasn't like that at all. I went home and I ate some food and I went to sleep. You know what I mean? But it's about the principle, and it's about, we have to set an example of being something different and showing love instead of hate, showing that we stand on these 5 principles, that we're here to uplift fallen humanity. You know what I mean? That we're supposed to be friends of humanity. That if, I should know the line off top, my fault. If a brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. Come on, family. That's how we got to be moving. So I encourage you to hold yourself to that standard, and I encourage you to hold other Moors, quote unquote Moors. When I say that, I'm saying the people that know we're Moors to that same standard, to help the ones that don't realize we're Moors. That we're all Moors, we understand that. But the ones that don't realize it yet, help them see, oh, snap. Okay, I see. That sister is different. It's something about her. She ain't even got a turban on. I don't know, but it's something different. It's that brother, man. I seen that dude on the corner all the time, man. He just be kicking it. He don't be doing nothing, but it's something different about that dude. It's through your actions, through really living it. That's what's gonna shine through. That's what's gonna help distinguish you, not, the feds. Because, let me also say this. Because if you wearing a fez, or you wearing a turban and calling yourself a Moor, but you holding on to the same principles and all of the same habits and the same mentality of somebody who doesn't know who they are, not only does that reflect badly on you, but also on us as Moors as a whole. Um, so you're doing, you know, you're doing double the damage. Um, so we really got to be mindful about that, and really, and also understand we ain't perfect. You know what I mean? ain't don't please don't mistake it as like, oh, what more think they all that. Nah, it's just we striving to be this. We striving to get there. Uh, but we gotta put our best foot forward. You know what I mean? That's sorry I was rambling a little bit, but that's kind of all I have for today in terms of how can I tell if someone is a Moor. I hope the message got to the people out there. Um, is it clear? I hope it was clear. Any other questions? Islam, King Khalid, Khalid Bey, C Mac, Abdil Ben Levy, um, A Archie, Jerry Blaze Bay. All facts. I do my best to love myself in a supreme way and give the supreme love to all. Islam, do your best. Word, word. You know, my man up there, Martin Luther King, he has this amazing speech called, matter of fact, let me get the link. I'll drop it in there. Boom. It's an amazing speech called Love Your Enemies, November 17th, 1957. Um, I humbly suggest you listen to the whole thing. It's 40 minutes, but one thing in specifically he was speaking on in terms of how to love your enemies. And I was just taking that principle and just applying it to how to love all people, not even, take the enemy out of it, and just how do you love all people? How do you love a stranger that you don't even know? And Martin Luther King was saying um, that you don't have to like them, you know what I mean? But, focus and strive to love them and to try and recognize even the smallest bit of divinity of the God within them. And if you can recognize even the tiniest speck of God, the tiniest piece of Allah that is within somebody, um, focus all your energy in loving that little piece. And that love will help it grow bigger and bigger, and make it easier to love them, and hopefully that'll in turn transform them to love you and love all. I don't know if he said necessarily all of that last part, but the point was, uh, I work on and I strive, you know, to love all people, and when I see someone, to recognize the God within them, even if they don't recognize it within themselves, or they're not giving me that energy, or they're disrespectful to me, to still try to look past that, to discard, to look beyond that, or to look deeper than that. Um, Not that it's always the easiest, or not that I'm always successful, but it helps, um, and I think that is key. Um, and A Archie, yeah, man, it's a cool build. But just to summarize again before I close out, how can you tell if someone is a Moor? In truth, by definition, a Moor is any dark-skinned person, the so-called black people, so-called African Americans. Um, so, on a very general sense, that's how anybody you see in that sense is a Moor. Now, when we're speaking on specifically, Noble Dry Lee, and when you think about Moors, you see online and YouTube, um, even those people, it's about your principle, you know what I mean, and what you're living by. It's not so much the fez or the turban. Um, and even, the Moorish name, that's important too. It's very key. Shout out to Muhammad Ali. Shout out to El Haj Malik El Shabazz. Um, you know, even Tupac Shakur, he spoke on this as well. Matter of fact, can I find that before I close out? That might be a cool way to close out. Come on, baby. Yes. All right.
Shakur, who is the national chairman of the New African Panthers. My name is Bomani Bakari. The program is indeed. They may not understand that where they got their slave name from in the first place. Again, how important is it to embrace an African name? I'm a late arrival. I must confess. Perhaps your parents gave you an African name at birth. Is that not correct? Mm-hmm. Indeed. Now, how important, how difficult was that for you, being raised in the African American community with an African name when a lot of your friends walk around with Barrys and Joes and Susans and everything? I believe that the New African Panthers are about serious freedom, really reaching out and embracing serious freedom. If you truly want serious freedom and serious liberation, and you want to have self-determination, how can you do that with the name that somebody else gave you? You know what I'm saying? The name from a person who didn't even respect you. You know. So when my mother gave me Tupac, I felt as though she literally liberated me at birth, cut the ties off me at birth, and set me free. You know, set me on the path to righteousness. And with Tupac, growing up with that name, you know, when I was a kid, I did stupid stuff. You know, what's your name, Joe? I didn't want that bright star within me, you know. But now I embrace it because it gives you character. You know, every time I say, what is your name, Tupac? I have to say, what does it mean? You know what I'm saying? Why is that name? And it's good. It gives me a chance to express myself and express what I'm about and what I'm gonna do. With a name like Joe, who cares what it means? You know what I'm saying? It means nothing. Joe Schmo. You know what I'm saying? So it comes. What it does actually is liberate you and lets everybody know that you're breaking those chains that this whole society has put on you when you came here. They gave you they gave you wrong religion, your wrong name, wrong, you know, switched everything around and put you in a society. So basically, I think that I'm not trying to put anybody down, and if your name is Joe, I'm sorry.
Love to my man Joe.
If it was Joe. Yeah, if it was Joe. But on the strength, it should shock you. It should make you feel depressed, and it should make you feel bad inside walking around with some other person's name. You need to drop that and liberate yourself and really pick your name up. Because they told you your name was stupid when you came here. That's a dumb sounding name. You know what I'm saying? And so now you, okay, Joe, Jay, you know, so pick it up. You know what I'm saying? It's about that time. It's about that time. It's not all about just having an African name. Because I met the sister, you know, she said, my name is, you know, Jody, but I want an African name, you know, because it's the end thing now to be positive. But don't just get an African name, get an African brain, you know what I'm saying? It's all about educating yourself first. You know, don't walk around with that name if you can't defend the ideals and if you don't even know your culture, you know what I'm saying? So It's not all about just being, you know, Akinyele or Tupac or Yaga Caesar. It's all about Romani or whatever. It's all about having the brain to back up the name. And also, we could extend that to the wearing now of
having the brain to back up the name. Come on, man. Yeah. Hey, come on, David Bell with it. You on top of it. David Bell with it. Tupac named after King Tupac Umaru. Maru with that M. Oh, come on now. Come on now. South American, revolutionary, or is it Central American? I'm not exactly, but American. He's named after, Tupac Shakur is named after a great revolutionary. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up. And I wanted to just read this before I close out, man. Here we go. When the forefathers of the Moorish Americans were first brought to this nation, they had a nationality and a name. But in order to separate them from the achievements of their fathers, a name was given to them which had no connection whatever with the founders of civilization. They were nicknamed Negroes. Today in this nation, there are no such thing as Negroes in this sense. Excuse me, in the sense that they are called. Just why so many of the intelligent Americans will continue to cling to this nickname is hard to understand. Now, this is coming from Noble Drew Ali back then. We're not clinging to Negroes anymore. Now we cling to African American or Black. Black power. Black lives matter, right? If you look into the dictionaries, you will see that the word Negro means a sly person, a coon. If this is not an insult to the illustrious history of a nation, there can never be one given. Just as they have saddled on the Moorish Americans the name Negro, they have also given him a religion that was made to enslave him and stop his progress. It is the duty of every man who lives to redeem the name of his forefathers and not be herded into a mass of weaklings. Stop referring to yourself as Negro, colored, and black, for you are neither. If you are men, American citizens, speak up for yourselves, or it will never be done. As long as you wear the clothes of another, and live in the house of another, and depend on another in any manner, you are truly a slave to them. If you would be free indeed, you must seek the truth. You must know the truth of your nationality and the name of your people. You must not be a coward and deny yourself the personal rights that belong to every man. Come on, man. Moors. How do you know who's a Moor? You know by the ones that is living by the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom. What's that last one? Justice. All right. I'm out. Much love. Study Noble Drew Ali. Wise brother, man. Study that dude. Study the information and live on the principles. Be the example. Love instead of hate. All right.